makwaba mama hanso enne yasan hyehyia yebedi nkomo afa emra nsem ho Original TV asunie medin adetwumberema enne nkomo yebedi ne bedi ade afa ordinance marriage de mudu do na afra na say I na say wedding no ene bedi say nkomo ne ahwe ene ma ekomu sen de sitie emra ne ka sen fa ho marriage fi yedi kan hwe customary marriage yahwe Mohammedan marriage ti e behwe ordinance ni yahwe ni miensem kwase we nya wade miensem wo man Ghana mu ha yagetum ene se mra yagetum ti e behwe se ma miensem na se na de to so miensem e behwe ye de no so hu komo ye betwe ho aba banansa ne betwe ho aba no ene the legal fraternity no I can say ya ti asem de ane ansa anti asem de asem da yante no ne say one senior lawyer was called to the bar somewhere in 1993. A lawyer akutu ampa. Ene. Akra efra ntuma awo ntintinu. Amanai on kati asifo mbio. Mobaka no 2021 a year presidential election petition. Na wodum tintima pa ono ne gina homa ye na akodan kwakufuado. Mampani as a lawyer e the Supreme Court. Wodi kodi nkunim. Mbaka ne wigi bia no hye court wo na ni kampa no so kran koton chen even 2013 presidential election petitions RB ono ane senior Addison ane nipa aka ne kan ho bie na wo mudi animu at the Supreme Court then in 2013 ane akra enkati asifo bia be mabusua wodamo yakọ yama ire ne ma ane the bar association ni eko bia wo odwan bia na yamo nyina yakọ eno nton chen no eni gisam so wo mu ne se ene eye enipa bi ono mo sa quantity mo wie abaya lawyer se yen num nsi aba na yerinfo eni om do so npa no bro apem mu ne akiri kakra but ba ko bi eni bi ayi ni mo se mo trim kwan e bodi kan de free eye me amenua ne madam fo pa fojo wo ye producer wo multimedia na sa Adom TV kojo and now you have been called to the bar. Congratulations and welcome to the bar. Onwachi Osman Ayariga were Deputy National Youth Organizer for the National Democratic Congress at the NDC. Osman so or deputize a lawyer Operado Pablo as Donald friend the deputy in Brantia come. One so nay or come my column to the bar no. Osman wants to congratulations pa wants to welcome to the bar also. Abbas Nuruddin, we are regional communication officer for Ashanti region, NDC. Also, and then with 3 years out of the Lords, you have also been called to the bar. And then, also congratulations. And a year, Honorable Shirley Ayoko Boche, Madam, a Foreign Affairs Minister of Ghana, on also a name of Rambi, Nafra. I'm also a lawyer today. And Brantier Bakoka home. I friend Sami Ewuku, as in the CEO for National Lotteries Authority. Also, a lawyer. Nti South Winyana, Momina Kwabana, Mia Bapa, Obobia Opokudako, formerly of Radio Gold. And I also one graduating with a master's degree from University of Professional Studies, as well as Banso Abaye, a lawyer. And Munina, Yama, congratulations. Yentwi ahumra ya ba ya de lawyer na anybody nkomo no edin and atudwa na afiri nkomo din ase yamra sisia abuja for ma kwa ba biem so magebre ahwe yen ma yetwe ho ba se de medical and atudwa na nkomo a yebedie no efa eye ordinance marriage ana se de ka no twi mu ayefro ana wedding say the binuma friend no e be disen komo yin na ya hwede amra ne ka efa sa awade ne so se be kan ya di kan sua customary marriage no ye Ghana na say the democratic friend engagement na say be efia awade ne sa de di kan hwede amra ne ka fa ho de ehwe Mohammedan marriage se no ka no so fa incremofo de no esua no so last week and nay eye obroni de no eye the ordinance marriage enso ye bisua lawyer ni tena se ne adi komo ona afa yen be na otwe nsem nyina nie ya gene bre yi pa wona ya disen komo ya bepum enne yi e friend lawyer UMAR FAROUK counsel yamakwaba
Yes, council.
Be able to
Yamiado.
Good. Sir, now to be a coyedia.
Yamiado.
Yes. And your mom come baby when so there was so I did bread upon all your busy schedules in your junior that Jenebra Abakan one day. I will need a besan bachelor mudia and in more a year ordinance marriage. Now, men say, Breno, young queen, because that money you may be in terms many kind of to just say, I have found more questions and pushing Busano. Your Facebook page in Air Life, original TVGH. Over to me, a day will question be I will be out for Facebook page in the so. And as a WhatsApp line, so to screen, so I'm between the faso. It be exactly 4:30 with my friend, maybe I'm not to my name as now, question be up so Busan is Wobisa. WhatsApp line is 0550 090 867 0550 090 867. And no, and the whole screen is on. Question be I walk for faso. And as a Facebook page in the so, then it's fat. The best near kind near Yajet and whom I had among every lawyer. Council, I didn't any ordinance marriage.
They did kind. I mean, that was for the opportunity to be here once again.
Thank you.
And
welcome.
they're also so. I mean, share your tea for any. Ordinance marriage. Essentially, you know, we share Ghana just like last week, yeah, discussed here last week. We share there are 3 forms or 3 ways you can execute marriage.
Okay.
And you share first one, you share customary, and you share criminal for the so.
Yeah.
Now, ordinance, popularly, what the lay people term as the church marriage.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's governed by the Part 3 of the Marriages Act of Ghana. Now, we share Part 3, and I friend popularly as Cap 127.
Okay.
But however, the definition of what ordinance marriage is still remains at common law. Now, we share common law in the very famous case of Hyde and Hyde.
Yeah.
They define ordinance marriage as our rare, or if you like, in Brofo America, a voluntary union for life between a man and a woman to the exclusion of the others.
Okay.
Now, OSHA definition the very essentials of what we call ordinance marriage are captured in that very definition.
Okay.
First of all, so it's voluntary.
That's a well-food
so the two exactly. So the 2 parties now we are involved now. That's the man and the woman, the bear man and a Obama. They must enter into it voluntarily.
So one free
exactly.
And then there will be
exactly. And the second one is for life. What for life? What does it mean? Essentially, what it means is that the 2 parties they cannot just sit down and then dissolve the marriage. It has to be done by means of the courts. There's a court that has to exactly. So for life, it means it can either be terminated by means of death of either of the parties or both parties, and now by means of the court. So when you go to court and the court will take them through the legal process, and at the end of the day, they make a determination to dissolve the marriage. First of all, the first quality is it has to be voluntary. Second one is for life, and the third one is to the exclusion of others. To the exclusion of others means inherently, a monogamous. It is essentially between Beman and a Obano, Obiantimin count, and neither of them can go ahead and marry somebody else in addition to what they have between them. Strictly and inherently monogamous.
Very well. What kind of we that's change and say, "Sa wade we are can ho asem yi die." Say, enipa mienu efiri wo pem e be kebo mo ba ene bema tenie what stress on that say man and a woman. Ebom e be kebo mu wo sa kwan no so a. O say ba akuntumi mfiri akiri enko wane foforo e meka ho. Say we die ugina ha na say wa na wagina mutumi ko ba bia.
Exactly. And we saw say last week and in the subsequent the previous discussions we had on it on this subject matter, which is marriage generally. We indicated say our legal in a contract.
Yes.
But our the type of contract it is a unique special contract in the sense that a ordinance marriage, the type of contract it is, it has to strictly go in accordance with Ghana MRA. And the specific MRA you referred to in this particular discussion, the ordinance law, specifically Cap 127, which is the third part of the Marriages Act. Once you go through an ordinance marriage and it does not strictly comply with Cap 127, you cannot term it as ordinance aware. So you can say ordinance aware a special contract because it has to be done or executed in accordance with Cap 127. It also has to be done.
Cap 127
exactly. And there's also means that ordinance aware. If you look generally, contract an 18-year can execute a contract by himself. But ordinance aware, an 18-year-old cannot enter into an ordinance aware without the consent of the parents, the mom and the papa, and also a guardian. And the guardian could be the justice of the High Court.
Okay. So that's the difference. And so,
from 18 to 21, no, you need the consent of your parents.
Okay. What if you do what you copy from shared do no back? So, our demon, so worry, ya fra. I was set and nanny a jet, and I said, and nanny a jet nearby, and my consent. On one dream, Monhan, send what you are.
Exactly. And
I say, yes, and nanny a Johnson Tiasia will be your friend, so as you term a guardian. We say a justice or a justice of the court.
Exactly.
The movie able to master consent and son say independent award.
Exactly.
Most of the income, yes, sir.
Exactly. So from above 21, you don't need a consent.
Okay.
But 18 to 21, you need a consent of the parent. Then in Latin, because a local parentis.
Okay.
That's a guardian. Exactly.
I see. Yeah. I see. Now, what are the requirements? To say if I say you want to say Nipano and my okay voluntarily no woman if you won't pay somewhere. Be a woman in interior only kind of consent be guaranteed. I said, now I'm person common. Now they want to go into ordinance. And only our and never be brain no appeal. Don't do one number. First question is a DNA and say also first one son as our letting. What is the procedure?
Okay, so before I ever procedure, no, so boy, the requirements. The requirements they are divided into two.
Okay.
There was substantive requirement and your procedural requirement.
All right.
In the substantive requirement, I think we've touched on one of them, which is consent. No?
Okay.
And the other one is it is very important because ordinance marriage inherently monogamous. No? So you have to make sure at any point in time, no, you have not entered into any other marriage. Once you have entered into any other marriage, whether customarily or some other means, or another criminal forward, you cannot execute ordinance marriage. The second one also is it must not be prohibited. The ordinance marriage between a Oban and Behrman must not be prohibited on the grounds of consanguinity. Say,
okay.
They must not be related by blood, by moja. Someone related by moja, then it will be prohibited under the law. Exactly.
By blood, no, and only full blood and also half blood, and I need a movie. Tinting you must say, Obi, Obi only free papa, but move free mammy. Okay. Once you are blood related, so they won't come.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, with this, comparatively, with the customary marriage, well, in our kind of settings, what do you want to offer? And I said, with ordinance, they okay, yeah. Okay.
And then there also the proposed ordinance between Behrman and Oban should also not be prohibited on the grounds of affinity. Affinity is if you are already, this is a Behrman is already married to maybe Oba, and then he's seeking to marry another lady, but this lady perhaps the sister of your friend is the existing wife. No? So it's prohibited. And affinity. Exactly.
All right. Okay.
So
I see.
There's a distinction between the two. No? One is consanguinity, which is moja, and the other one is strictly by affinity. Rebecca said, if you are by marriage, affiliation of marriage, you cannot. Exactly. Those essentially are the substantive requirement of ordinance marriage.
Very well.
However, there are procedural one also, and the procedural one, so ordinance or area, you cannot just wake up and go and do it. A bit more a day. I mean, they go to the gardens and then they do something. Exactly. That will not qualify as ordinance marriage because there's a law that has laid down a procedure.
Okay.
And once once you don't subject whatever you are doing, the purported marriage through that procedure, then whatever you have done is void under the law.
Okay.
You see, the first one is if you want to do it, you have to do it through 3 options. The first one, either obey through the registrar's certificate, and also obey through the marriage officer's certificate, and also obey under a special license issued by a principal registrar of marriages. If you don't do it through any of these options, then fundamentally, whatever you've gone through cannot qualify as an ordinance marriage under the UMAR.
Abuja the okay, me pese ko ne beti die pa. Wo se awade no a ye ware ayfro no se wedding na ye ye. Ekwan miensa so na mra no abato wo se ye mfa so. Emu ba ko. Miensa no wo se ye wo then registrar's marriage, right?
Registrar's certificate.
Registrar's certificate, thank you. And na ye wo
marriage officer certificate.
Marriage officer certificate.
Principal registrar special license.
Principal registrar special license. Inti yen fa one after the other. For last one, the principal registrar special license and
okay, because my main fan from the first one because the last one pretty much takes its explanation from the first two.
Yeah, okay.
Into the first one, which is the registrar's certificate. And the Beman and Obano essentially have to come together and then make an application to the registrar. The registrar in the district of person will execute the marriage.
Mention on person who woman assembly. No?
Exactly.
I could the marriage registrar no.
Exactly.
Yes.
But you cannot just you can't do it verbally.
Okay.
You can't verbalize it. You have to make it by documentation.
There's option
into Betro.
Okay.
And the law terms it as a notice.
Okay.
Someone submitted that document to the registrar of marriage in that particular district. Then essentially what he does is enter into what they call the marriage notice book. Until once he enters it into the marriage notice book, he's duty bound under the law to then place a copy of the notice on the outside of either on the door of the office and outside notice board be outside of the office or paste that particular document, which is the notice. Once he pastes it on the back of his door or on the notice board outside of his office then within a space of 3 months, a certificate should have been issued to the parties. And once a certificate is issued to the parties, they are also supposed to, within that same window, 3 months, to have solemnized the marriage. Once they don't do that, then they have to start the process all over again.
Okay.
What I say.
Okay.
So, but the certificate will be issued under certain conditions.
Okay.
And that will come by means of an affidavit or more application. So once or share affidavit and then he's satisfied that they've met the substantive requirement, So if those substantive requirements are met, in addition to either of them having lived in that district for a minimum of 15 days before the celebration of the marriage, then once all of these requirements fundamentally are satisfied, then he proceeds and issues the certificate. Once he issues the certificate, then they have a window or a time period of 3 months to celebrate the marriage. Once they fail to do that, they have to start the process, go back and then make an application which will qualify as a notice, and the notice has to be placed on the notice board for 3 months again. I mean, it starts de novo.
Sir. It's not just a notice media. I idea before so because of where wedding. When be also register no. A man be send notice but the notice in that and when now we are we question be obi mpesa wa den beba so a otimi ebe kana na within that period na say nipa na tim be kana na and so no.
Yes, within that period. So and then your friend a caveat no.
Okay.
So caveat no can be entered, yes, once a notice within that 3 months period, a caveat can be entered. And the caveat, I say, you've explained it already. I mean, will be a third party and as a bystander somewhere, then makes an objection. Caveat, there's simple meaning in layman's language, objection. You're essentially saying, say, you have a reason why the two of them should not be. Exactly. They shouldn't be unionized. Exactly. So once you enter the caveat, then under the circumstance, the registrar, the marriage registrar is duty bound under the law to inform or to notify the justice of the High Court. Say, oh, these two persons are seeking to unionize under the ordinance law. However, no, the process has been subjected to a caveat. Somebody has entered the caveat, and the justice of the High Court will look at the caveat on the face value. So if on the face value, no, he feels that prima facie there's no case to answer, he will dismiss the caveat, and the caveator is not given a hearing. However, if on the face of it he feels that there's a case to answer, then he will call in the purported parties to the marriage, no, and also the caveator, another the caveatrix, to come in and then show cause why he feels that the two of them should not be unionized under the marriage ordinance.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Memoir to chance to crab in just about a minute. Nearby. Na be a phone lines not to nothing. So you have other questions. I say, Bisa, and not editors. Interest. Obisa for makwa bas ma jebre atwen me atwen ho ba yedi nkomo ayedi no fa aware a eye enne namafo die na so broni die ye friend say ordinance marriage na say ifro wedding yedi bi adema no bi no ho nkomo na ye die ye ho supply na ye bi atom 0550 090867 0550 090867 your phone lines na so yedi nkomo ye bi no so atom fa and so ba screen so fa na so afre na o question bi a opose obusa fa aware ehun say especially with this one I yedi hu nkomo yi ne ma course bebre na obusa na wagye nkyeremu papa se fata na bi wutu na mo so hono mo se wutu yakua ni no council lawyer ni di nkomo efe no lawyer Faruk Umar one wagye bre na ye woni atenase ni yedi nkomo council. My next question to you is if it be can be and as a lawyer for muta can be say consummation in marriage but focus on ya can but as you understand, a dear here was our day I can once him.
Well, let me dance for the opportunity once again. A consummation under the law. No, what it means is that Bema the proposed Bema a Obama or some Omoshia.
Also, Mudinshim.
Omoshia.
After Wariano.
After Warren,
also shame. The woman is a mistake of Biabana.
Jose,
not as a yes,
exactly. It affects the marriage. I say almost so it's not a case I will say once. No.
Okay.
It has to be continuous.
As a woman, the money tired better see. And when you say the once and no more.
Exactly.
All right. It's a call. Good afternoon, but you didn't your free. I'm saying human and so what must have February line here is 0550 090702 0550 but your phone line with my friend what's up line is in the whole screen so and now what you know question of a Facebook page in this man yet me I can them
lack of consummation the can
whatever but your so mommy call good afternoon but you didn't free. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, do remember to program na chasi isia na me to wa me te se mo kan wale asem. Hello.
But you
Good.
But you didn't be free.
Okay. Me de kojo me frefi Odningo.
All right. But you're here.
Good. Let me be. What you say?
But I think I'm here.
Good. My question is so be worry. I caught our baby. Now within less than 3 months of the marriage, no ban any payment for Fraquacoda. Na watching na young fan say or no phone so channel. Na aside what the phone so channel 4 months again was something Bema for Fraquade and Nakoda Emma Bema new Kuno action and no Sabani say Uncle Jaya Warrior court ever granted and now say on granted.
Very well. Yeah, that's it. Of course, very loud and clear. You have more answer. Now, if you didn't actually in any other answer. Council, but no one will be listening. We are not out in the answer as some.
Okay, until now, you consummation, and I say, or say consummation. I said the law, and I said, requires them to, to consummate. I mean, say, Moshia. And once that particular requirement is not met, then it renders the marriage voidable.
Okay. And I say, and now, one more on better than a day, I idea when power was what they will say. Around your question, but it's out here. Oba no aware, any be man aware. Bosumi and Santa Mobana for Nipochi, and will be akoda, which is more or less adultery. What did kind of chair? And Obana 4 months after said the first one of the chair was Sanko Ibim. Now, because a court with Mambuano, and I said, you know, so based on this actor.
The court no bit me.
Okay. And
it's good say or not as I say. When it comes to dissolution of our arena, it's only the court that can make that determination. Into court bit my, but the problem they say, the law says that for the dissolution of ordinance of our arena, it has to the party seeking the dissolution, or if you like the petitioner, can only petition after 2 years of the marriage. After 2 years of the solemnization of the marriage.
Okay. You say now in 1 year,
exactly. Even though say technically what the problem he's enlisted qualifies under the law as a ground, because the dissolution of ordinance marriage, there's only one or so grounds, which is that our it has broken down beyond reconciliation.
All right.
Exactly. But that particular sole ground can be proven in so many ways. And one of them is adultery. Into an only situation that comes under adultery. However, the very challenge he might encounter under the law is a very requirement. Say, ordinance marriage can only be dissolved after 2 years of the celebration of the marriage. Even though there are exceptions under the law, but technically the exceptions that are given, it looks like we are not seized with the complete facts of the matter, but based on what he's narrated to us.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. But you didn't know everything.
But media, my free question.
But you are not on this crazy.
My question is, you proceed at the end of court.
Yeah.
It may be posted be so fear any man.
Okay. Notice now, okay, me but was noticing now, we say. Very well. And see, no question is it's not that, I mean, it's clear. Whether or not noticing now as register and be pasted on the court. Can it also be posted, and I say pasted, at a wall, I mean, around your house or something, and I say be a fear.
So in the case where she's going under the registrar certificate, it's a bare notice. The notice can only be posted on the front or at the back of the door of the office of the registrar, and I say a notice board outside the registrar's office. Say, and the marriage officer's certificate as publication of bonds, and the publication of bonds can only be done in a church that has been licensed or recognized by a friend, by the law.
Okay.
So the publication of bonds can only be done in a church.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. But we didn't know we are very.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
But we didn't know we are very.
I am very Prince Lamekasa Africa.
Prince Lamekasa here.
Hello. I like me then say me then yawa you. I say I'm snatching, but me them now. Never money with me, no. But okay.
Ethiopia.
Me them now with me, no. And I talk with you and them. Nti pese me je me back but me see me fruit na my into no fa kwa na de emma me nti de na me na ya fa
all right yeah that's it now feed na chidin ya dia obanya wasa ne humo ye but now one bu bi so tika nti na say we my first one I mean the one before this one the registrars one no and notice ntimi nko ne fie but the other one na
publication of bonds under the marriage officer certificate and no can only be done in the church.
Okay nti na obetumi di copy akobo na sore na sorry am ba be wedding ne wo ho
exactly
obetumi di notice ne copy akobo
exactly right. And no 3 times so okay. 3 weeks
3 weeks
so every Sunday be
okay
for
okay
3 weeks
okay and they are now and so no be announce so sorry and I'm before the marriage you see announce announce say any person must
exactly
okay
exactly
okay very well so this very one only be manage don't worry but omo oba menti me ho ase aba oba na atwe no ho but opposite ko je ne ba is akwana no so ne zenka no ti den with my
issue of custody
okay
you go to the court
nti asoko court na okopusu amra no na hwe ba bia in fact the mistake next keep say na kwala ko age I know that some part no akwala no fie ndu one way na the parental responsibility edika dem man no before the men
exactly
yeah all right so kola unfortunately yet nya wo akwala ne ayi emfie wadi but ni nyina mo say waka no approach the court and the court can assist you on that matter. Kola good afternoon but you didn't need be free. Hello. Hello. Mr. Musamo from Madam Maya, Mamma, see mu ho TV no so. Why? Eba na sa won te de me make no. Na say me de be delay on the phone. It's more than an lower TV so that you can hear me well. Good afternoon, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
But you didn't know we are free.
We are from Eric. We free Accra.
Mr. Eric Macretio.
A patrol cancer. My worry by 10 years.
10 years.
10 years no banity. Pass my sword in my question for a witch. No banny. And also no banny who are proven to one.
But your was it then?
I said my sword in my question for will be wretched.
Bearman, I could plan out our rich. So, Matthew, but now your question.
I say, me here and I'm not 10 years. I said, and see, I know problem you on one.
Very well. Well, 10 years. What funny rich? Is there a problem? Oban with me, Casu Jawari, and I would think Casu Jawari.
I say, I know Yayano already.
Okay.
I know classical adultery.
Okay.
And adultery is a way of proving marriage now has gone beyond reconciliation.
Okay.
And once the Oban is able to establish that in court, the court won't hesitate; they'll dissolve the marriage.
Very well. Once one day na buru mfijemi no na won fie bi say wa okay no. Ade oyire epia epusu court na so pia obo pia court. No ko kan say opese ojai na wade na owo mu no lawyer say emra na makwan na court nto beti na semoma. Call good afternoon but you dey know be afrefre.
Pastor, good afternoon. Family just me Fefi Awodomi Estate.
Yes, madam, but you too.
Me Pastor, mawari 3 years ni by me ye ni nyina wo fie, me ye engagement, me ye na me sa share second ring go fie. By me ni any certificate bi ant na me bi sa kwan be na me fa so amenye bi.
All right. So when I say our dey mu bi enu a unye customary marriage registration na unye ordinance and so me boa.
Me Pastor dey bi.
Okay, Timato, yeah, Eddie lawyer be you and what with us. Nsem, but just for the end.
From what she said, no.
Yeah.
Under Yemram, technically, no, that's not ordinance marriage. That's
more or less
that's customary marriage, more or less customary marriage. Yeah. Until person converted to ordinance, all she needs to do is to go through processes. So go under the ordinance law and go and under the ordinance law, you either go under the the registrar certificate or you go under the marriage officer certificate and a special license. So any of them you could activate it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, can the normal customary one also be registered?
Yes.
And so in TBS, one query ordinance and also register customary ones and it's with my
register. But it does not prove a validity or otherwise of the marriage.
Okay. No. All right. So, Madam Josephine, but your question I say Bopia court and say registers no be our cano. Now I say what and with my register. Come on. Now they are for dancing. Call good afternoon, but you didn't know your Madam Josephine, but your question hello, good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah, and for your me also give my son
low with TV kakra na say me feedback no
afternoon for your me my son baby na me for na lawyer
we can hardly hear you ma wona say kakra me wadaro hello all right. The council yanto aso yan hwe say what is bigamy? You can say bigamy e wo ordinance marriage mo e den ade
say ye di kan ordinance aware inherently is monogamous. Monogamous I say say be man intimi ware beyond a obana ware dada no.
Okay.
Nti inherently monogamous. Nti at any point in time no say or worry about a can existing one. Technically, in our laws, Person to Act 29, the Criminal Offences Act, it strictly comes under what we call bigamy, and it's a criminal. Yes.
All right. International say Bema into Maro Bafu from Canada or Brava for ordinance marriage.
Exactly.
Call good afternoon, but you didn't know you are free.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Yeah, na myself review. Na bisa say them are not 5 years. And our ban was at local kunya 3.
Oh, e yon kwala no me boa.
Yo.
Nti said o kan ye no wa o kasa o do pay ye na say enye yi a eno nti na mra no ho. Ti bomodian na epini court na nya lawyer bi no ni anim ma na ye court nkyere mo mienu no. Some worry is not the problem, but as to which of you can keep the children, I remember can say custody. Why in a court and me one so with my I think I'll show myself. But I know when Chelsea a court and they might be a war. Beman to me, Abby and I'll to me come punching at some point in time. What in the answer? What are Council, but now one reason. So that in simple terms, that is the essence of bigamy. There's a bigamy there. A chick or ban also. And I remember one about you.
Say under the Mram, ban already is, I think, say a couple of weeks ago, you discussed say, we have polygamy. First one, a polygyny, and the back one, polyandry. Polygyny is accepted under our laws, but polyandry, which is a case of ban, more than one man, and no, it's criminal under our laws. It's not accepted.
1 second. Good afternoon, Bacho. Did anybody have referee?
Yeah, good afternoon, Bacho. Me can't say.
Okay. The Bacho ya inti who TV is what I remember for youngest.
Okay. Yeah, no lawyer can say a year or so and impossible. But you worry December 12, 2020.
12 December 2020.
17 February 2021. And of course, I had the chair. So, from yes, you were 20 December 12, 2020, and on 17th of February 2021, and I'm a chair the first one. Yeah, 4 months later, and another one sounds to see. So, see, I mean, no, kasi. First one is here, Bushia, and the software power, Chelsea, Mammy. Member Bushiama me peneso and my medichain. Second one on Bushiama already saw Betinasi. May I can't say. And then 3rd October 2023 and over parking in Yama. Edify me how can one set a trap with Janya may be here. In nature as I made the command and my pamino. But here by the case, to see only the second person, Awariano, Eba Abim, me no mo ka say eba be uhu akwara na enye obi na be kyerɛ ne papa unye hu akwara na so wunni ye mienu na enye obi na be kyerɛ ne papa so in this case
hold on a second so the okay me to see here na ka say empra na wɔtwe wɔkyire ni watimi ne empra na awo
yes
beside wo na wo wankasa wo ko ware no
yes
okay but officially no wonko gu aware no e court
yes
but more than the year 2020 December. All right. I think your question is now clear. Don't worry, I'm just saying with this.
No,
with this information there, we can give you an advice.
But also,
but so with this information, what's on the brain, we can now give you an advice on it.
Okay. Okay. Right.
All right. But that's how it's in the question. Yeah. And to say no, then
say we can't say the flow of events has resulted in Obano committing technically what we call adultery. The problem that initially we had was a time frame. But however, I indicated clearly say Omoware in 2020.
Yeah.
So we are in 2023.
Yeah.
So obviously he
3
meets
years.
the legal requirement of 2 years because it's 3 years. So he can petition the court. What our advice is one per lawyer. Per lawyer, not lawyer now. A fairly petitioner man for dissolution of the marriage.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's it. Nti yenua ofre ye waka wasem to see but your lawyer ayi wase ono no tiewa say mbehia so bebo pin lawyer bi na lawyer na di wanim afale petitioner ma e court na wodi awade na abawiye sabre ya were no afoachi akware na so wakofo wanko ware mpa wafoachi akwo wo nchen na de enough grounds for you to go off the marriage. Counsel yakuya ni no marriage certificate no and for and sign marriage certificate no.
So
all right. Good afternoon, but anybody have referee?
Me didn't Kwame.
Kwame, but of referee.
Because I free who.
Kwame, but what are much utimia, Bomadian and low TV, and I said mute no. Why not? I think we can from
okay. Let me see. I jump is a cousin kaka free a fire a brother no.
All right, in TTO, what are
let me say, my sister. Me auntie back when they buy a real bushing beam. Patrona means to meet him a real bushing man.
Okay. All right, Marty. The same family name happens also to our family name.
Roger.
The same family name.
And the my sister, we are a bushana more my sister. No, I'm now commission can pay me.
All right, Marty. Any lawyer you know.
Okay.
The question is very simple. Ni sister aware. Now let's assume to be a niece and worry for family. So in that whether extended family or whatever, no, can he also go into that same family and get married?
Prohibition by marriage and sulking. Strictly under the law, I don't see what really will stop him from going ahead to do that. Yeah.
That's once you need blood,
unless say by blood, and I say Ibia, nka ne sister ne kulu no. Na Ibiana on. I think say technically he can go ahead.
Okay. So technically, Branty Alfred Kwame, lawyer say, "Oh dear, no dear, emuda ho." Sabi enye we nua na akware no ana enye moja na se bia wunua mi na aware no na we wunua bia busua wakomu na abuso komu de emra na nche na nsi ho kwanto betuma ko. The next call ambacha wudi ni we are free.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, madam. Ambacha wudi ni we are free.
Your friend me Asantua me ka se free Accra.
All right, Asantua ambacha etia.
Ebacho na me bisa say ewo Ghana mremu ema kwan say Accra enye wona wawo no betimi de wudin aye beset odi wudin ahye so say papa
what Accra na te hwan chen
Accra no okay me kunu makunu say me kunu edi ni din aye beset ama obi
wakunu say ukunu din edi ni din aye beset ama obi
ai
but akwala na ete won chen na say what you
akwala ente menchen
Na kwara ne
Minim
hwan
ne
ba.
maame. Ba baby a best set ni ko pie no. Nipa no na minim no. E na obo mama
So,
ne.
but hold on. Akwara ne hwan ba.
Akra ne ye minya hu no kure wo mu say. Akra ne ye mi kunu ne ba.
Very good. So that is the starting point. Wadaroma. Ahwan ne baby odi also odi kan hwehwere. Because it's not just by naming somebody saying the dia cotton din so. Ya na say ye tie nyina me din twum ba no obi ne de meto no. Ti bia na ye mato. But obi din ba birth certificate say ne ba no no a na say ne papa ne dia. And you say we further and better checks. Now to me hu yi ansana.
Ba na me pese me hu say. Ghana mrama kwan say nya na wawo abofra na obetimi di udin ahyese se papa ama no.
Anything that me push it go say yet me adopt akwala. The say bi aso adopt no a different. So that's here. In this one adoption no dey bia dey na e bia na ne ba no ne mo na wonim.
Okay.
Good. It is an ba no na wonim a the wire no want to mra bia. So ne dia I mean the din birth certificate is no enti amra. But sanya ne ba no dia ana say ordinary akwara ne papa. Then first of all we need to know akwara ne papa na wan. Ana ne maame se no at least once you get to know ne maame yankasa nkasa no. E dia ne maame no betumi akire aboa me yehu ne akwara ne papa. And then we find out how papa na amamu ne mum ukunu na ba mu as father.
Me pa show you.
So what is it?
Me that's it.
What I remember, Miss Mendas. The council back into us. So yeah, let me be about marriage certificate, you know. When I mean the for signatures and that's a bus and that's why the big sign.
Okay, so technically under your laws now, if you pick registered certificate, for instance, if you go under the registered certificate, then obviously, obviously registrar no, and the obana bearman, and then of course witnesses.
Okay, but the witness, yeah, I was somewhere saying
minimum two
back, but obana judge back.
Something like that. Then under marriage officer certificate, that one. Obviously licensed priest.
Okay, so for no what do I before so to asukra. License what is you this I was say licensed priest. Not to say was so for no obegina asori ni mu se o hira ware no so no we obi a emrama na kwan na say license na so oja ware.
Yeah, recognize, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now baby a yaja ware no so no.
Or say and also your license recognize.
Ti nya son dem bia mu ana betuma ware.
Absolutely.
Mo say ason dan ya license na say as we are saying no e recognize in the law.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so na hope na betuma ware.
Exactly.
So now what is the distinction between registered license and the other one yeah can was say. Registered marriage and
marriage officer.
Yeah. Officers there.
So an American we share under the procedure under the registered certificate is markedly different from the procedure under the marriage officer certificate. And under the marriage officer certificate, I don't know purely in the church one, no. And under that particular one, I don't know Mrane insists that there should be publication of bans on 3 consecutive weekends. But OSHA registered certificate, I know they're pretty much straightforward. The registrar does everything. The only thing that has to happen is the initiation process now, which has to be initiated by either of the parties by means of a notice. That is an application.
Okay.
Once the application is submitted to registrar now or the notice now or no enter into the marriage notice book. Now the copy a paste or a notice board outside of the office. Then goes ahead within 3 months, issues a certificate, and within 3 months the marriage should be solemnized. But OSHA and the marriage officer certificate, I know there should be publication of bans. And publication of bans is only peculiar and related to marriage officer certificate. Under the special lines, it's not required. Under the registered certificate, it's not required.
Okay. So a year married registered marriage. That's them.
Absolutely.
And then court one as if you have been
on office now.
And as if you're on office. But the under bans and your court a sorry them.
Exactly.
My last question now you're sorry no. A break by na obi bet my use a dean said may race may the message stream and as I say what time can that name be used me ware ni wie no an be message twin barama and that's something must be done before that.
Also adapt to a name by means of gazette and going through the legal process.
Okay.
One your husband's name will not automatically jump to become part of your name.
Okay.
It has to be done through the legal where you go and get a gazette and stuff like
okay.
that.
Okay. Inti na say wo ware wie na pese wo fa wo kunu din te odin so na ba ya Mrs. Entry, Mrs. Osai, Mrs. Upon whatever. Say I was say what the process by getting your name gazetted, published or gazetted. And son what you by Mrs. Upon, Mrs. Osai, Mrs. Entry, whatever I would edin eti. And not just a worry and one now I started from Mrs. So maybe we do here. No I started trying to say no but I would need evidence to support it now what lawyer actually. And what she was here and I'm for bebre afa our year home and I say I fro questions about me so aboa e bibie no bebre ne so se na e question bi enka be bisa we abusa ama na wanya ho enchiremu na sa ho ntiase ya ne say na e kire say ya hunu what goes on when it comes to ordinance marriage and what our laws and I say mra e Ghana ha e kan defa ho enne lawyer woni be di djuma your friend lawyer Faruk Umar said when you know na otwemi ensem ni oni afamu customary marriage Mohammedan marriage and then they when you have ordinance marriage now to say na besa agi nkunya atranse asa adi kuma fofo na eno so ya pene so humu ani hunim dia ne hunyansa ya wie ne say ne dey aseda be ma the production team MCR4 the producer Ora Samuel Hunto executive producer Mr. Sam Kwadadi Renchi and mo amode brehwa yen mo amodom questions ba ye mo amofra ye mo nyina so ye da sada kase be mam ye de mbesia medin adetwum barema na to sene ye besan ahia ye ayo amrasam dwumadi so ya me so